So the 8th. All right, so the 8th here in Australia is going to be the full moon in Gemini. This is going to be at 16 degrees of Gemini, which is going to be exactly on top of Mars. All right, because for the 10 a.m. chart, the North Node is going to be in a semi-sextile to the full moon. It'll be quincunx to the South Node, trine Saturn, square Juno, and we're going to have a yod forming, okay, between Moon, Mars, which will quincunx the South Node, and then we're going to see the South Node quincunx to Chiron, and then we're going to see the sextile between Chiron over to the Moon, Mars, and the Sun. Oh, sorry, not the Sun. The Moon and Mars. It's a full moon. The Sun's fucking opposite. What am I talking about? Anyway, so therefore, don't mind me. Mercury's on my Neptune, all right? I'm doing the best I can. With this yod, okay, and not many people consider it a yod just straight up because not many people would use Chiron or the South Node as inclusions of these aspects, okay? So just a heads up. This is what I see when I look at the chart and the way that I do my astrology. The midpoint of this full moon, all right, is going to be on the North Node, Uranus conjunction, okay? Now, this is very, very important because the chart at 10 a.m. is ruled by Uranus. So we're starting off the day in that Uranian energy at 10 a.m. All right. Then when we look at, I've got it up on my computer here and I'm just going to amplify it so I can see without putting my glasses on. Not that I use glasses anymore, but I'm just going to make it as big as what I can to read it behind the phone here for you guys, okay? All right, so chart ruler is Mars for the Gemini full moon. And by the way, I will do a full moon tarot as well. Like, we're just doing the astrology portion at the moment. Excuse me. So for the full moon, all right, yeah, so Sun at 16 degrees, of course, opposite the moon at 16 degrees. Mars is going to be at 16 degrees as well, okay, and still retrograding. Just pardon me one moment. Chart for the full moon. All right, so full moon here in Australia, by the way, will be at 1508 hours Australian Eastern Daylight Time, okay, so this is in the afternoon for us, technically. Now, we have Chiron conjuncting the ascendant of this chart, which is a Mars-ruled chart, being Aries, okay? Now, this all falls in the 3rd house of Gemini. So not only is it a Gemini full moon, but it's also Mars, on top of Mars, in the 3rd house. It's domicile, okay? Like it's in a domicile position. Ruling position. Then everything, of course, Sun, Venus and Mercury are in the 9th house of Sagittarius, so at home in Sagittarius, Sagittarian energy. Mercury has just moved to 1 degree of Capricorn. In the 9th house, all this Jupiterian and Sagittarian energy, and we're going to be seeing Neptune and Jupiter 22 and 29 degrees respectively in the 12th house in Pisces, okay? So Neptune's at home in the 12th house, remember that as well, okay? Now I feel that this is specifically quite potent just because of when you look at the chart, yes, and you're seeing there's heavy square aspects here as well, guys, between Mercury, Venus, and of course Venus and Neptune, still Saturn and Uranus. We're going to see semi-squares between Jupiter and Uranus and a trioctile, 135 degrees, between Mercury and Uranus. So a trioctile energy, this is like conflicting energy. Mercury and Uranus as well. I feel Uranus is the masculine version of our intuition, right? It's the right brain, masculine intuition. Neptune is the feminine version of our intuition. All right, so when we have Mercury, which is our right brain, but it's also the dual mind as well, okay? Because it's Mercury, it's Gemini. Yes, it's Virgo as well. However, when that trioctiles over to Uranus, it's like too many cooks spoil the broth. There's too many opinions coming in now with like, are we going to take the Uranian higher awareness of fuck what the collective are doing, fuck what's socially acceptable, what do I want to do? And then you've got Mercury in trioctile now in Capricorn, Saturnian ruled, being, oh yeah, but in an outer sign conjunction to Venus, being like, these are our rules, these are our ethics, our morals, this is the way we structure things, right? So during this moon, this is really going to be asking us all to take a very serious look on how we want to communicate what our values are and our higher awarenesses are on where we fit and where we feel like we fit in our groups, in our collectives that we circle in. Yes? Because you've got to remember that considering that this chart is pretty much on house aspect perfect, yeah? So it's in the third, the moon and conjunct Mars is in the third house of Gemini, in Gemini. And then all the Sag energy opposite that, of course, is in the ninth house of Sag. We have to take that into consideration, okay? Chart ruler being Aries and Mars as well being activated by this moon in the third house. It's like, all right, these are all the plans and this is the way in which we can go about certain things. How can I make that feel in alignment for me? Because I don't like the way so-and-so does X, Y, and Z. I don't like certain formulas or certain procedures of the ways in which certain things operate. That doesn't feel in alignment to me. It doesn't feel in my truth. So how can I make that work for me? Yeah, and considering that the moon is right on Mars in Gemini as well, I feel that is going to be very, it's going to be like that sapiophile energies. It's like, I'm in love with this idea. Yeah, and it's going to help you bring it through as well, is what they're telling me. I'm just going to have a look at this chart one more time for the full moon. I'm just looking to see if we have any weird kind of angles going on. We do have a medium learning triangle between Pluto, Mercury, Venus, and Neptune and Jupiter. So that's activating that as well for this full moon. So full moon message please for them. What can we tell them? Full moon in Gemini, conjunct Mars, okay, like right on Mars there, really driving in what do you value, how are you going to put into place that which you want to bring through. This medium learning triangle between Pluto, Mercury and Venus in that out of sign conjunction, and over to the Neptune and Jupiter. Very much you've got to think of Gemini as well, of it's not just communication, okay? Gemini rules the hands as well. So it's like, how do you put things into motion? How can you get things to work cohesively together? Yes? And I feel okay, I'll give you a perfect example, all right? It's like, I'm spiritual and I have a business. I want to run that business that is in alignment with my spirituality and my heart, right? As we all do. But my business is not spiritual. My business needs Saturnian structures and processes put in place. Yeah? My business needs X, Y, and Z in order to operate fluidly and productively like a well-oiled machine. Yes? And I am spiritual, so I can infuse my energy into that. However, I can't make my business be spiritual and meditating every day and just hoping that things just pop in out of the ether like my downloads do. You know, like that's the blending and the melding of, I guess, the 3D with the higher levels of awareness and consciousness that we operate at. It's the blending of the reality. And I feel that the moon, specifically being that this full moon will land in the 3rd house of Gemini on top of Mars, you know, opposing all the 9th house energy, it's going to really show us a way in which we can do that for ourselves. It's going to find a way in which that we can blend cohesively and congruently together so that they are supportive of one another. The ways in which we want to operate in our lives, not just our businesses. I gave the business as an example because it's something that I've been journeying with myself, you know. I have very big vision for my future and of what I want to create. And it's not just based on Alchemy with Amanda. That's just one piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So I think I mentioned it last week. It's like having the Wizard of Oz on one hand and the Guru on the other, and we're blending the energies. And that's what I feel that this full moon is going to help us do. It's going to help us weed out a lot of the stuff that isn't in alignment anymore. But not that it's just not in alignment, okay? However, it's just going to make it crystal fucking clear, guys. Yeah, crystal clear on all levels of what is going to work for the vision that you have for your future. Yes, not just for your business or whatever, but for your life. How do you want to be living each day? How do you want to be feeling each day? Where with Jupiter and with Sagittarius, where do you want to be living? Yeah, this is going to help you put those plans into place. So set your intentions firmly with this Gemini full moon, okay? Because you've got to remember as well, we're not going to be seeing the new moon until the 23rd of December in Capricorn, okay? You want to have things put into place and planned by then, so that when it comes to the 23rd of December, which, by the way, I have to bring up as well, Mercury retrograde that we'll be seeing at the end of the year, because the shadow period starts on the other side of this week. On the 14th is when the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow starts, okay? Anyways, I digress. Can you bring it back for me, please? Where was I? It's going to make it clear for you. That's right. Thank you so much. They just dropped it in. So start planning it now in the lead up to, and use the full moon to help you plan the way in which you want to be in your life, your lifestyle. Where do you want to be living? How much do you want to be earning? Create, or not earning, because like earn, URN, that's like related to dying for me. And it's like, no, I don't earn my money. I magnetize my money. My money just flows to me. Okay. So focus on those things, and also spiritually, emotionally, psycho-emotionally, psychologically and emotionally. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be what do you want to be feeling in your day-to-day? Okay, focus on that, and focus on what's going to be required in order for you to make that happen, so that when we come to the new moon on the 23rd, which will be the second of 5 new supermoons in a row, okay, you can be crystal clear with your intentions on that Capricorn moon, that Saturnian Capricorn get shit done moon. And then in that next moon phase until the Aquarius new moon, that will all come in. The people will start dripping in and dribbling in. The connections will just come in out of the blue and come in to help you and support you through that, okay? Are there any other messages that I need to give them, please, for the Gemini new moon? For some of you, this is going to bring up sacral stuff. They're just telling me, okay? Sacral chakra related things. Why is that, please? Oh, okay, because we are seeing aspect of South Node over in the 8th house South Node Scorpio, so Scorpio rules the sacral. South Node is going to be in the 8th house, and it will be making aspects over to Jupiter and Neptune in the 12th house. When you see that aspect from the 8th to the 12th house, this brings up sexual abuse energies. So if you've been healing and working through previous traumas with regards to that, sacral healing in specifically, this Gemini full moon may be a catalyst for you in clearing that out some more, okay? So you've got to remember that full moons are for releasing as well, because it's come to its fullness, okay? And then as the moon drops away, it's releasing, isn't it? It's reducing and it's coming smaller. So it's leaving and letting things go, okay? So the full moon is great for setting both types of intentions, but also for clearing, all right? Remember that. Okay. Now, much love, everybody. Have a beautiful week and a really beautiful, blessed Gemini full moon. It's going to be wonderful. So much love. Bye.